Hello, everyone. Happy International Women's Day. First of all, thank you, Women Tech Makers, for this opportunity. I believe we will learn from myself and other amazing speakers. I am Isaac Adariku. This section will cover a guide to show you how to bring animations to your app with Flutter animated widgets. It's basically just teach you how to implement animations in your Flutter app using the inbuilt widgets from Flutter. For those not familiar with Flutter, Flutter is a Google UI kit for building beautiful applications. So you will learn various animated widgets provided by Flutter and how it beautifies our app. Let's get to know more about me. I am Isaac Adariku. I'm a software engineer at FitStack. I started with native development before moving to Flutter, and ever since I've been working with Flutter. I I also work with Firebase and TypeScript at night and day. I also mentor Flutter devs at HMG and Zuri internship. So let's get to look at an example of an animation. This is an example of an animation in Flutter. As you can see, it's attractive. It's part of what we see daily, part of what we use daily on our mobile apps. So if this is not actually beautiful enough, let's look at why we actually need animations in our app. Um, so by my right, you can be looking at the animations while I explain. So animations help us to enhance our user experience. It plays a major role in the overall user experience of your app, from the visual feedback, from motions up to the custom animations you can imagine. We see them daily in our app, so it enhances the user experience. So with animations, your end users will love to engage with your app. Let's take an example of Twitter. When you click on the like button, you see the way the button pops up, and it's actually cool. And for me, that feature alone makes me to keep liking every post just to see the beautiful red pop up. And with animation, you can easily make your end users feel less frustrated when data is loading or they are long process. You can easily show beautiful animations to keep them engaged. Um, for some of us that have like less internet connection, you can see that when it's loading, if you have a beautiful animations, you can actually feel less frustrated just waiting with your mobile phone. Or if those of us that engage like using some mobile apps that convert our videos to audios, and maybe convert just some conversions app, you can see with why converting, if they are beautiful animations, you can actually keep engaging with your app. So for developer progression, just like the theme of the day, progression, not perfection. As a developer, you need to progress with your skill. And with this, animation gives us some challenge. And with this challenge comes progression. So when you cross that challenge, you can actually see how you progress with your skill, and it gives you more height in your career. As we challenge ourselves to build beautiful apps, animations also challenge us to make our users um, flow enhanced and beautiful. So we'll be exploring animations in Flutter. So in Flutter, Flutter actually provides us excellent support for animations, and there are like two types of it's categorized into two. So Flutter keeps our animation simple but yet still powerful. And with this, we'll be looking at the twine animation. It's a short form for in between. So it's actually required a start and end point. So let's look at an example. So as you can see, this is an example of a twin animation. It has like a linear time where when this starts and when this will end. So it's a series of intermediary values, and when it reaches the final point, if you want it to start again, you trigger it again. So for the physics-based animation, this actually is what simulates the real world animation. You can see that with the physics-based animation, it actually feels realistic and interactive. So we'll see an example. Like as you can see, the frog, when you tap on top, it gets bigger. So this is like a real life and interactive animation. So these are like the two categories of animation we have in Flutter, but there are also techniques on how we can implement animation in Flutter. So we'll be looking at it. These are like the two techniques to implement animations in Flutter. We have the implicit and the explicit. So the implicit basically are just series of widgets that the animated versions that have animated versions for them. This is what we'll be looking at in this section. And also the implicit just extend the implicit animated widgets. So these are why they are called implicit animation. So for the implicit, what you just have, since there are a series of widgets that have animated widgets. So like, for example, a container widget, you just have to change the name to animated container, position to animated position. So for the explicit actually gives us more customization and controls over our rebuild of our widgets. It actually have you can have custom effects. It's actually you can actually do more with this than the implicit, but due to the focus of this section to just bring animations to our app, we'll be looking at the implicit type of animation. So we'll be jumping into our code and our technical parts. For those of us that don't like programming, don't feel don't feel bad when you see our code editor. So we'll be jumping into hands-on code section. It's an opportunity for you to learn Flutter for those that don't know Flutter, and it's also an amazing time that we'll have. So let's look at the app we'll be bringing animation to. So I have this app running already. So it's just three categories. We'll be having our animated container, which implements a bar chart, and we'll be looking at our animated position. It just implements some drawer, a custom drawer, and for this, it's our quotes app. So we'll start with our animated container. It's a bar chart, but so for those familiar with Flutter, you can see this is just a basic setup. We have just our bottom nav bar with the following names. So it's just a basic setup and a basic app. We'll be bringing the app does not have animation at the moment, so we'll be bringing several animations to it to see how easy we can actually bring animations to our app. So starting with the animated container, I have three views set up already. So with the animated container, we'll be looking at how we can bring animation here. So basically what this have is just a row of containers. The containers are having different heights, and these are the heights here, and these are different colors it's having. Just like how, if you remember from our slide, I said for the implicit animation, you just need to change the animated container to an animated container, then the position to animated position. So let's do that quickly. So, but what you should remember and know that is when using animated widgets, we need a duration for the transition. How long will it take to animate? So I'll make this in milliseconds. Let me make it in milliseconds and let me give it 1000. So what I just need to do is to change all this to animated container. So I'll copy this line of code since I can just replace it with our animated container. So if your app is having like a container and you see the need to to implement animation, it's just easy for you to change the container to animated and add in the duration. So with this, the implicit animation also um, ensures that we trigger it. So for us to actually have this animated, we have to have a trigger that will trigger the animation. So with that, we'll be adding a floating action button. The floating action button, most of us will be familiar with it. This is what we see um, daily on our app. So it will have an unpressed property, and let's give it a child. Let's use the refresh icon. So okay, so let's use the refresh icon. Let's save, and you can see this is the floating action button. This is our refresh icon, the icon on top of it. So now when we click, there's nothing happening. So we will need a value to change for this animation to start changing. So I'll add like an index. Let me say, let me give an index and a value of 1. So basically what this will do, will add a method that help us to change. So the GitHub Copilot have suggested that we use this method. So we'll use it this way. So basically, maybe what this will do is that when the index is 1, it will change it to 2, and when the index is 2, it will change it. When the index is 1, it will change it to 2. Otherwise, it will change it to 1. So what this should do is that it will increase the height when it's 1, and when the index is 2, it will bring. When the index is 1, it increases to double the height, and when it's not 2, it will bring it back to this. So we will need to effect this change on our height. So we'll multiply our index with this. So this is just like 80 times 1. And when we click on this button, it will increase it by 80 times 2. So we'll have to copy this index and use it everywhere on the height of the animated container. So this is just a basic example. This is just a basic example. So let's see what will happen when we click right now. So you can see it increased the height. So you can actually build this simple app for your kids and to just play with it. But probably we need something to engage it rather than clicking. So there is a property for the animated container known as on end. Actually, when the animation is ending, you can actually trigger this on end. So we don't need to even add it on every container. We just need to add it probably on this on the first container on end. So what this should do for us is a function. So I need it to run this same line of code. It should trigger the index, and it should change the index. So let me just save and see. So when we click on this, I think the on end property triggers it and it continues. So this can just visualize and keep the users engaged if you have something like a bar chart that animates and it grows with time, just like the rate of changes on the stock. You can actually just use the animated widget for this. So with that, you see we've added animation to our bar chart. Let's move quickly to our animated position. What this actually do is we have a customized drawer here, which have a stack of a position. So when we click on this menu, you see it opens, but at the moment you can see how it opens. It's not friendly, it's not user friendly. So what we'll quickly do is for us to change this position to animated position. If you remember, after adding the position, we'll have to have a duration. let's put a duration of 1. So let's see. Wow, this is beautiful. So as you can see, with just that line of code, we've changed this. So we can also add probably like an opacity, an animated opacity to make we'll give it an opacity of, we'll check if our menu is open, the opacity should be 1, and otherwise it should be 0. So the duration can be the same duration as this. So let's see. So when this is open, okay, okay, is menu open, it should be 1, and if it's not open, it should be 0. So let's see. Okay, so let me add like a child. Let's see, color. Yeah, I'll have to add a child. So let me give it a container. Let me use a container with a child. I'll give it a color of colors.gray. So you can see when I click on this, it goes away. So with this, we've added animation to our drawer. So anytime you are using a drawer, a custom drawer, you can actually quickly add animation with just this. So lastly, we'll be looking at our animation switcher. This is like a beautiful app. After this, you can even download this app. So this app is basically like a quote app. It celebrates the International Women's Day, and also it gives you quotes on why women are powerful, and more things about women you need to know. So this is using an animated switcher. It's a type of animated widget which has different it has more functionalities, and you can use it. Basically, when you click next, it moves and give you the quotes of the day and more quotes with the images. So with this, we'll have to add, you'll learn about transition builder and some other things. So let's quickly add another property here, which is known as the transition builder. You can actually build different transition for your app with the animated switcher. So let's say it's, sorry for that, it accepts a child and animation. So okay, so we'll be using the fade transition firstly. So it's, I think this has no much effect like this keyboard. So this has no much effect, but let's take a look at another transition. Let's call it rotation. There is rotation transition. You have to change this property. So if you click, so this rotation, I know this is not beautiful, but it's just a test for you to see how easily you can add animations to your app. So I think one of the one I'll choose for this my app is called scaling. It's called the scale transition. So I'll use the property known as scale, and with this you can see how it scales. Wow, this is beautiful. So let me wrap this with coming. Let me wrap this with a widget that will expand the child size boxed. Okay, so I don't know what's wrong with my child. Okay, okay. So yeah, it's bigger, and as you can see, our app is looking so beautiful and amazing. Wow. So you can get this app if you like. It's actually codes, and it has different images that you like, and it's built for the event, and it's built for you to see some amazing things that women, we are all proud of them. So it celebrates the International Women Day. So with this, I think you can see how easily it is we can add animations to our app. So what's next should be resources. So you can go to flutter.dev to see several resources for animations. If you want to start with Flutter, you can go there. You see the get started. It's very easy. So for animations, you can visit more of these sites to learn more on them. And in conclusion, implicit animation is like it's straightforward. You can just implement it easily. But to implement like the main animations, like you have to use some other widgets like the animated widget and animated builder. So thank you everyone. If you have a question, you can go to my Twitter account, and that is the handle there. You can reach out to me. Thank you. I'll be handing over to our hosts, and thank you once more for listening. I hope you had a great time and you enjoy this section and you learned some new things. Thank you everyone. Bye.